Now we're going to try drawing a little bit more of a complex object. So we're going to draw this one over here. So to get started, let's get a new file open. So let's go to New. We're going to go into Metric and a standard millimeter. We're going to draw for a file. Okay. Now, when we look at this object, there's a ton of different ways that you can take this one on. I'm going to show you one method where I want to show you the idea of additive drawing and subtractive drawing. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start by building the whole base here. Now, you could just sketch out the shape, but I'm going to show you a different way, which would be considered subtractive method of drawing, where you basically build a block and then you remove pieces from it. So we're just going to kind of do a little bit of that with the base here. So let's go start a 2D sketch. Now, we're looking at, we're going to be looking from a top view, looking down. We're going to forget about all this in this area here, and we're just going to look at the footprint of this. And we're going to basically build a rectangle that will match the footprint of this. So for that, we want a top view, which is going to be looking down at our XZ plane. So let's start by clicking on that to get started. All right. Now, when we look at our shape here, you can see that the word top is tilted on us. So basically, it's like we're standing here, but our head is over at this end here. If we want it to be more of a front view, we can rotate our view, and it's going to be indicated by this box here. There's these two rotational arrows here. Let's take the top one to spin it left, and now we just rotated so we're looking down. So basically, we're standing at the front of our object, but we're looking down on top of it. Okay. We're going to look at our footprint here. We can see that if we're looking from the front, it has a horizontal distance of 2 and then a depth of 1.5. So let's go and draw a rectangle. We'll do a 2-point center. Let's choose the origin as our center. And now as we drag it out here, it's going to look quite small. We're in millimeters, so it'll look like a very, very small object. So our distance across is going to be 2. And then I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. There we go. It's all about perception here. And then we're going to go 1.5 as our other distance. Okay, we've got our sketch done. Let's finish our sketch. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, so now we've got 1.5 across our right view, which matches this. We've got 2 across our front view, which matches that. Let's make this into a block, and we're going to bring it up to the height of this base level of our object, which is 0.5. So let's click Extrude. We're going to change our distance from 10 millimeters, the default, to 0.5 millimeters. All right, so we've got this base level made here. Now, you can choose how you want to take on a drawing. There's times where it's beneficial to make it as a big block and then remove, and there's times where it's just easier to add piece by piece. So let's say we want to now get rid of this piece right here. Well, we're going to do a 2D sketch on our top surface. Now again, it rotated it so that we're looking from the end here. Just to keep it a little bit more consistent, I'm going to spin it like that. And now we're looking at this would be your front, and then this would be your right side over here. Some people even might put it like this so that you can kind of see that, but we're just going to keep it on top, just like that. Okay, so let's draw basically this piece that we're going to cut from our object. So we're going to start in this corner here, and we're going to draw a rectangle. Now instead of a 2-point center rectangle, we're just going to go to 2-point rectangle. Let's select the bottom right corner here, and now we're going to drag our box over. So it's first prompting for the horizontal distance, which is going to be this distance right across here. So to figure that out, we've got a total length here of 2, and 1.5 has already been used, which tells us that this length here is 0.5. So we'll type in 0.5. We're going to hit Tab. And we're going to tab over to our length. So that's going to be the distance going all the way across here. So our total is 1.5. We want to keep 0.5, so that leaves 1 as our distance. So we'll type in 1. And we've now created a rectangle the size of this missing space here. When we're done that, let's go to Finish Sketch. And now we're going to go and extrude that. So extrude, now it's pulling it up. We want to choose Cut, and now it's pulling it down. Now remember, we always want that piece to be gone. So if we ever do any kind of adjustments to this, maybe we have to adjust the height for some reason, we don't want this cut to be set at 0.5. We want this cut to be set through the object, no matter what adjustments we make. So instead of putting a distance, we want to select Through All. All right, hit OK, and now that piece is gone. So we've done our base level here. Now we can start adding this block up here. So to do that, we're going to go and start a 2D sketch. We're going to click on our top surface, and again it turns it so we're kind of looking at the end. I'm going to rotate it so we're looking at the front. Just click the arrow there. All right, now we can see that this piece here, we could do this in two different ways. We could draw this as one big block and then cut this piece off, or we could draw it as this block and then add this block after. Because we've done the cutting piece already in the subtractive method, I want to do this in an additive method. So we're going to draw a rectangle that's going to be basically the whole distance across here. So we know that it's 1.5 is our depth and our width is 0.5. So let's go draw a rectangle. You can choose to either do the bottom corner or the top corner here. I guess we'll choose top for me. Now it's first prompting for the width. We can see that that is 0.5, so we'll type in 0.5 and then hit tab over, and then our length we can see we can either snap it down or we can type in the 1.5 to get that full distance. Okay, we've drawn our rectangle in our 2D sketch. It shows over here we're in sketch number 3 right now. Finish our sketch. If you ever accidentally make extra sketches with nothing in them, make sure you delete those sketches. It'll just clutter up all your commands. You also have to have lines that you're going to create a feature from. They have to be in the same sketch. So if you start another sketch now and then try and use those two sketches together to create a feature, it doesn't work very well. You want all of your sketches or all of your lines to be drawn in the same sketch if you're going to use them to create a feature. Okay, now that we want to go to extrude, we're pulling that up. Now we need to figure out our distance. So our total height here is 1 for this edge that we're trying to get to. We're already 0.5 up. So yes, we're going 0.5, which is what it defaulted to from the last time that we extruded. So we should just be able to click OK. All right. Now that was extrusion number 3. So remember, you can always see that. There's our sketch. There's our extrusion. And now we're going to do another sketch on top of this surface here. So we're going to draw this block here and extrude it up. So let's go and start another 2D sketch. We're going to select this surface. I'm going to rotate that just so it's on the same angle that we're looking at. And we're going to make this 1 unit by 0.5. So let's do our rectangle starting in the top corner. Our width, we're going to go 0.5 and then tab over. And our length is going to be 1 unit. Finish our sketch. All right, we've got our rectangle drawn on top there. Now we're ready to extrude it. We can click on there. It's defaulting at 0.5, which looks a little bit too tall. We can see that we were at 1 unit for height. We need to go a total of 1.2, which means that that's 0.2 units tall. So let's change that distance to 0.2. Push OK. And now we should have our object. Remember, you can orbit and look around by clicking on the view cube, using your navigational wheel, or what I like to do is if I'll hold down Shift and then hold down the roller on my mouse, we can grab that. We can look at it from whatever angle we want to ensure that it's drawn how we want it to be. And once we've done that and we get a little bit lost in the rotation, you can always hit home and it brings you back to your original view. You can see all of your sketches and extrusions by going down the side here. So the first one was that base block that we built. We did 1 sketch. You can always highlight over your sketch and see your sketch. If you want to change that, remember, you right click. You can edit your sketch to adjust the size, or you can edit your feature when we go to our extrusion, and that will allow us to change how high we extruded it, or what we extruded perhaps. Extrusion 2, we cut our piece out of there. Extrusion 3, we added that block. And then extrusion 4 was to add that small piece there. This should always look nice and clean. We shouldn't have extra sketches in there that don't have any purpose. If you do, you can delete those out of there so that your command block looks nice and clean.